What is going on, everyone? We are back to conversate
about the Boulet brothers,
the next episode of the Boulet brothers,
who just won the BAFTA award for Makeup Artists of the Year for daytime talk show, game show kind of thing. Congratulations. They always look fierce. Absolutely deserved it. And may I say,
especially so in this episode,
the gowns that they wore to accept the award, fucking amazing. I want one.
Were they uncomfortable?
No, they were gorgeous. I'll show you later, but they were like a beautiful blood red ball gown, like a red and black almost color shift. It was really like, and they had their hair in that perfect like ponytail / bun type thing that they do. Just like, oh, they looked so good. So good. I'm super proud of them. But yeah. We're here.
So we're here. And this episode 4 from season 1, is titled "Basic Bitches."
Right.
Pretty in pink. That's not what it was.
I mean, it should have had a little subtitle, I think. I mean, again, it is basic bitches, so...
This is... Okay, so this isn't my most hated episode of this season. This is my technical least favorite challenge they do.
Right. I mean... What I was going to say about the basic bitches thing, though, is you definitely had a preconceived notion that this was going to be a more glam than it was. Whereas when I hear basic bitches, I think of the whole, stereotype for winter with the, everybody's wearing the matching boots and
my problem
leggings.
with that, though, is you have to have money to wear those things, and those things aren't cheap. So when I think of...
Neither are the pumpkin spice lattes from Starbucks and shit.
The $15 pumpkin spice lattes with like double shots of
in
what
the
$200
pink Stanley cup or whatever obscene amount it is.
I do expect a level of bougie to go along with basic bitches. I was not. I want to make it clear. I was not expecting Disney princess.
No, that's not the normal stereotype for, like, basic bitches. Right. But, yeah, I get what you're saying.
But I was expecting maybe a little more jewelry to be worn.
Yeah, one would think.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, before we jump too far ahead. So, in this intro, we have Swan and Drac hacking away at the poor little Audreys.
They're gardening.
That's not gardening, that's murder.
I mean, it's the kind of gardening I do.
That's the one kind of plant I would try to keep alive. I'm just saying.
I mean, you just have to feed it your enemies, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And that kind of gardening I could probably do.
Hopefully, we could teach it to sing.
Well, that would be good. It's got to be a musical. Like, it's got to have its own numbers.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So for those of you that don't know the reference to Audrey, it's a Little Shop of Horrors reference.
Yeah.
Little Venus flytraps, which I think these are technically probably something else.
I mean, that's what they're meant to be, but yeah.
So they actually have a whole double entendre thing going on that I absolutely loved, by the way, where she was talking, it was Drac, and she was talking about you feed them, you water them,
you watch them grow,
and what do they do for you? And she's like, so then you gotta kill them. And it was definitely a double reference to the
monsters
and
going
on and killing off the ladies on the
show.
show.
And also she wanted them to get into it, and they weren't getting into enough drama. And
right.
I mean, it's.
To be fair, this first season,
they were rather polite to each other.
It only goes downhill from here. Well, uphill for me, but downhill in general.
That's also. Here. I mean, that's true. But like, I think in general they were
super kind in this season specifically,
which I think is good.
Other than the end of this episode.
That's also true. That's also okay.
She's gotta get the fuck out. Anyways.
I mean, it starts with...
So we start the entire episode off...
Catty. It starts
with
Catty.
Meatball.
Yeah.
Doing the, not tonight!
I mean, it's great. It's great.
And she even admits she can't stop herself. Like, and they show several clips in a row of just different times when she's just, not tonight!
It became
not tonight!
Yes.
And it again, it has become a series staple comment.
Right. Yep. It's a thing. It's a thing, which is kind of funny. And they do it in front of Loris.
And to be fair, also, it is misquoted because Loris did actually say not today.
Right. Which she does do a secondary revisit to because Meatball gets her all stirred up and, which is fine. I mean, she takes it like a champ. Who knows how much it hurt her behind scenes, but...
we then find out that there's a moment, and this part, again, goes back to my distaste for Loris as a human being at this point. Where they talk about and then show scenes of Loris having an allergic reaction, quotes, finger quotes, because my hands are kind of off the screen over there. An allergic reaction to eating or licking, not even eating, licking the brain.
Right. Something. And supposedly her throat is swelling up.
It's in reference to her eating the food from last week.
Well, yeah, but that's what she said. Her throat was swelling up.
But my problem is, at this point, I don't believe her.
Well, and neither did some of the girls. It was actually mentioned. Like, I think she was doing it for attention.
She has spent this entire season just trying to get attention from everybody. And I think this is just another step in that direction.
Yeah. That part didn't bother me quite as much as when they confront her about how did you feel about eating brains. And her comment was that since she has abstained for 2 years... Like, she really didn't feel like this was making much of a dent in the meat industry, and therefore it wasn't such a big deal, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, okay. So, if this was to test your fortitude as a person on your beliefs, you just failed.
Right.
So, there you go.
And then, everyone thought Loris was going to go home. We kind of jumped ahead on this because everyone was for sure that Foxy was going to stick around because Foxy really, really went in on the food thing to stay around. Like, she wanted to be there. Absolutely.
Plus, that eyeball was good.
But then Loris walks to the door, and everyone is visibly annoyed.
And kind of shocked. They're like really? Really?
And then, they make her redo her speech and all this. We then get, and if you were wondering why they were chopping up the Audrey plants, we then get the Boulets that pop up on screen.
With this wonderful headdress.
With this, yes, it's one of my favorite costumes. Honestly, both of these are two of my favorite costumes. Not of just this episode, but of the entire series.
Okay.
That we get from the Boulets. The second episode comes back at another time, but done slightly differently.
Okay.
But we'll get there. But yeah, so the Boulets come on and they announce that the guest judge for this week is none other than Bible Girl.
Bible Girl. Right.
Who, even to this day, I still don't really know too much about. I tried to find some videos online, and it was surprisingly hard to find on YouTube. So I don't know if she's more of just a Twitch personality.
Right.
I mean, she definitely had some where she was doing conversations about, drag and stuff like that. But I'm still not very familiar with her.
Okay. Me neither.
But yeah, so Bible Girl, and again, like we said last week, we're going to start showing the judges when we go through this, because sometimes it's funny, and sometimes it's
a lot of them reoccur, so it's worth it, yeah.
Alright, so, we then get to the stage show, and the stage shows where we see the Boulets' second outfit, the Michael Jackson dresses.
Right.
And I love the hair, and again, they actually do this costume again. Now, the next time they do it, Drax's face is reverse and opposite of Swan's. And instead of it being a normal Michael Jackson face, they've got vampire teeth.
That's right.
On the dress.
Yeah.
Still the same design, still the same Michael Jackson face, just reversed on one of them, and then vamp teeth.
I absolutely love this hairstyle, too.
But I love the hairstyle, love the dress. Again, two of my favorite looks in the exact same episode of the entire series.
Okay.
And then we get the floor show.
All right.
And this is where things get kind of fun.
This is where things get very pink.
Very pink. All right, so first and foremost, Meatball comes out. Boom! Came out with a croquet mallet. Was doing some croqueting.
Well, some mallet moves.
I don't remember. I think it was what show did they reference with her?
Oh crap! I forget.
It's one I actually think I have not seen, to be honest.
Heathers. Heathers, yeah.
I have not seen Heathers. I know it's a kind of horror movie.
90s
thriller,
angsty,
I guess thriller.
Yeah. It is good, and the plaid it would match. She would be one of the Heathers. But this dress, unfortunately, it drives me a little crazy. And it's not the dress so much as the fact that in this intro, she turns around and you see that the back is missing. And I know that it was done for burlesque-esque buttocks showing. However, it reminds me of the unfortunate incidents where you go to the bathroom in public and end up with your skirt tucked into the back of your undies. So I wasn't all for that particular part of the look. Yeah.
After Meatball, we get Loris, who went with the more Paris Hilton style.
Very Paris
Hilton style look, minus the dog. She didn't have the Paris Hilton dog.
Right.
Right. So she's got the small hand purse. She's got
the big bow, the sleek blonde.
Glasses.
Yeah.
It's very much a Paris Hilton design. Next, after Loris, is Vander Van Odd, who comes out in a, I don't know what it's supposed to imitate, but it's kind of like a housewife.
It's a bougie housewife housecoat attire where she would be doing skincare self-prep. It's the whole, like, masking the face, curling the hair, putting your face on type thing.
Right.
Hairspray. Lots of hairspray.
All right, next up was Frankie Doom.
Jennifer Coolidge moment.
Was it would definitely a Jennifer Coolidge thing, and honestly, imitating Jennifer Coolidge a lot from
Legally Blonde.
Yeah,
it's definitely a bend and snap moment.
She even does the like small skimpy steps that causes her boobs bounce.
Yep. Holds her hands, kind of, yeah. It was a cute look.
It's great because it's not the only time we see this movie referenced.
Right.
Then, after Frankie Doom, Xochi Mochi, who went with a very Southern Belle.
Yeah, it's kind of a pink Scarlett O'Hara.
Right. Look.
Very lacy.
Honestly, one of the easier picks for me to get. Because a lot of times... So, for those of you that don't know, I don't know how well you guys can see the pics or how blurry they look when I put them on here. There's a lot of times there's so much movement that goes on with people
it's
hard to get a still pic that looks decent.
Xochi poses.
Yeah. So... and then last but not least, Melissa B. Fierce, who rocked the Legally Blonde. I can't remember.
This is
Renee Zellweger. Is it Renee Zellweger?
No.
What's her name?
It's you just like clogged my brain. She's married to Prince Jr.
I'm terrible, people. Legally Blonde.
But yeah, she...
okay, of course it's blurry. Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah. And she even has the dog, although her dog was a little skeleton dog.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's honestly fits the show.
Yeah, it's a BB.
I think it was a very smart choice.
It was.
In adding the skeleton dog. Because again, it still keeps up with the Chihuahua from Legally Blonde, but does it in a alternative drag horror-ish way that fits the show. So, very nicely done.
Bones be fierce.
We do find out after they go through and they talk to everybody that everyone is up for extermination this week.
Not because they perform poorly, just because that's how they wanted to do it.
And as a part of their elimination challenge, everyone has to lip sync the song Nails while all of the other ladies are throwing shit at them. Whether it's food.
It's mostly food. Flowers and stuff
balls,
like that, yeah.
A couple dollar bills were thrown.
But it's they have to lip sync on a catwalk. while this is being done. So,
and stage gets really slippery, which there were several people that
fell. It looks so painful.
Now, here's where I have a problem. And I feel like this becomes less and less of a problem throughout the rest of the series, thankfully. So in this episode, almost all of the girls change.
Yeah, no, there's definitely costume changes.
And one of the things that I reveals. Like is more often in the future, they're pretty much told that their outfits are going to be for both. Yeah. And you have to keep that in mind.
And I do like it, but I also do like reveals.
I don't mind reveals, but I want the reveals to happen during the actual stage show.
Right.
I'm not a fan of the reveals happening during the lip sync competition.
And that's kind of what I felt like. This was a little bit of an oddball, because normally they would have had the lip sync as part of the competition and then the food as part of the elimination.
Right.
But yeah, I this was a weird divide.
Because again, when we go to rank our stuff, we're ranking it based off of their actual stage show.
Yeah.
And which, I mean, it's going to hurt some people, because like even like Vander, which probably would have hurt her more if it would honestly, if I'd have went with using the costumes and stuff. It's like she changed way too many times mid-performance.
Well, she had 3 reveals, and it just sort of took away from it. And I mean, we'll talk about that when we get to her, but yeah. So
I did want to go ahead and throw bonus points specifically to Frankie Doom for bringing out the pink Freddy Krueger glove.
I thought that was magnificent.
For those of you that don't know.
Because, again, it was a nails thing for the,
right.
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger is my favorite horror
can see him
character. There's a Freddy glove, there's a Freddy mask and hat back there. There's Freddy stuff all over the place, to be fair.
There is.
A lot of Freddy and a lot of Jason. A lot of Freddy and Jason. A little bit of Leatherface. But, now, a lot of people end up wearing this glove, though. I don't know if you noticed, it got passed around.
Oh, I did not notice. Okay, I mean, it was fun. Why not?
Several people wore it during their performance. But the first person we saw come out with it was Frankie. All right. At the end, they go through and they give everybody their critiques. And, again, my favorite quote from myself for this entire season is, Loris, shut the fuck up. Shut up.
Yeah.
Like, every single time somebody comes with critiques, you don't need a 5-minute speech on what you plan to do and how you think you're going to be doing things. Don't care.
Yeah, it's not the time.
You either do it or you don't. Like, you don't need to talk about it. Don't talk about it, be about it, for fuck's sake.
I don't understand where I mean, like, it might be nerves that make her, but it's like nobody else on stage responds that way. Nor have they.
At this point, I can't even say it's the nerves. It's the attention.
I think it was so funny that Bible Girl addressed her first, and then she, like, steps back into the line thinking she's done. And Drax, like, no. I haven't said anything yet. Come back.
We're not done here. Step back up. So, they end up giving the winner this week. It was going to go to Melissa, but they turned around and gave it to Meatball because Meatball did everything that was asked of Meatball to turn it around, step it up.
Right.
And present in a much better way. And Meatball did knock it out the park. Like, Meatball did a great job.
Absolutely wonderful performance. No cackling, giggling, total basic bitch mode.
Yeah. Had one of the coolest little moments during her actual stage show that we didn't talk about. And I swear, she pulled out a cell phone. She goes, Dad! She was like...
Of course I didn't
offer the coach, to be able to get a blowjob to get out of gym class. I gave him one.
Right, exactly. I'm not a tease. Off. Right.
So funny moment there. At this point is my favorite moment, individual moment of the entire season. Just my favorite small moment. I don't like the challenge, the pretty in pink basic bitch challenge. I don't like the challenge. But my favorite little moment of this entire season is the Boulets going, okay, so after we've critiqued all of you, we want your help.
Oh no. Yeah.
Who do you think deserves to get sent home because at this point they are so tired of everyone being so nice. They're like, we want to see you go at each other's throats.
Bring your claws out a little bit, and absolutely everyone goes after Loris.
Every single person says Loris,
except for Loris,
who
was like, I was gonna be really nice and diplomatic, and it's like, girl.
She says I was gonna go the what is it, the Miss America,
pageant queen or something.
Method and, she's like, but I think it's going to be Frankie doing, and then afterwards her and Frankie are actually kind of cuddled up next to each other.
Well, I mean,
got their arms around each other and whatnot. And I think she went with Frankie because Frankie's probably the closest thing she's got to a friend.
And Frankie was also standing I think Frankie had just finished speaking. So either way.
But this is where my quote of the night,
Melissa,
comes through. And Melissa goes fucking in.
She doesn't hold back. She's just Loris. Like, I'm done.
It is the first time we actually see this from her. Like, we've seen her, like, attack Xochitl.
Slightly,
the wrestling match.
This is Melissa 100% comfortable with everybody at this point and is just like, I'm over it.
She's fucking over it. And she goes in, and my favorite moment was like, she looks back at Loris and goes, you just need to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes!
With attitude and everything. It was fantastic. Yeah.
And my other favorite part of this whole section here, too, is when she does that, the Boulets not once flinch, don't look concerned or nothing. They're just like,
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, like, that's what we were looking for, girls. All right. Moving on. We value your opinion.
So then at the end of that, they look over at Loris, and it was like, so Loris, everyone on this stage.
This was just the most, like, either she was trying not to cry and so she came out with this answer immediately, or she is seriously this deluded, because that's what the girls afterwards are like. They're like, she's deluded. She's delusional. She's literally like something is mentally wrong.
She goes, they ask her, they say, everyone just called you out. Why do you think they called you out? And her answer is, they're all threatened by me. And I was like, no one's threatened by you.
They're tired of you.
Everyone has talked shit about you this entire fucking season. No one cares.
Yeah.
I
wouldn't even say they've all talked shit about her. She's just, like, at this point, they're done.
Well, the Boulets go on to ask two of the people, and I'm sure they asked everyone in line. We only got two of them. It was Xochitl and
do you feel threatened?
It was Xochitl and Vander. Were both asked if they feel threatened, and both of them were like, no. Not at all.
No.
So, backstage, we get Loris being really weird. And I mean really weird in an you almost feel bad for her kind of way. Because, like, she's already accepted defeat. Absolutely already accepted defeat. But not admitting it. She's like, I'm happy. I'm on cloud 9 right now.
So what are we going to do next week, girls?
And Meatball's like, that's a crazy lady.
Yeah, exactly.
She's insane.
There's something wrong.
That lady is crazy.
Yeah, and she's talking about, what are we going to do next week, girls? What are we? And everyone's like, yeah, no, I don't know what you're going to do next week. You're not going to be here, is the thing.
Yeah, like, it's just,
It's funny.
It's hilarious. And again, I think it's her trying to convince herself that it's over and it's okay to be over. But
yeah, but
I agree with the ladies. Like, express your anger, not in a negative way. I'm not saying she needs to go off the handle like we've seen in the past.
Right, but like,
but it would be okay to be like,
that was a letdown,
that
guys.
was extremely shitty of all of you.
Yeah.
Like,
who is it that does? Somebody does that in the future, and it is actually handled pretty well. Where they're like, yeah, that's shitty.
I don't remember.
Y'all suck, but okay. I think it was when they sent Pigeon Lady home. Yeah. She always has the goddamn beak. Abora.
Oh, Abora.
No. Anyway.
So
voted off the island. It's never fun.
She's mentally accepted defeat, and then we've also got Xochitl, who is telling everybody that she thinks that she's on the bottom
is
too.
Defeated.
She thinks she's going to be getting sent home.
Yeah.
So forth and so on. So, to prove everybody right,
they both go home.
Yeah. Xochitl's the first one off. She's offed by lethal injection. I'm guessing it's supposed to be some sort of plant-based poison.
I would think so. Yeah.
And then after she goes into convulsions and dies, Loris is then ran over by a car.
Right, which, you know.
And I'm bummed about Xochitl leaving. I'd have been perfectly fine with it just being Loris.
Right.
But I feel like this is kind of a turning point for the series. I feel like this is probably the first time that you really notice that if you're backstage, like we'd already had what happened with Ursula Major.
Right.
We already had her get sent home. And they were talking about the next episode backstage. She was down on herself.
Yeah.
But we didn't get to see that.
If you get that attitude,
but
the Boulets accept it and send you home.
I feel like that was kind of like the warning. And then this was the proof.
Right. And so she has felt defeated the last couple of times. So
which is wild. Because she's actually done
really well. Really well. She's just out of her comfort zone.
Yeah, and in this one series, like she even said when she was at the end of it, when they were showing backstage, she was like, you know, I'm not a pretty person. Like this isn't what
I'm a monster.
And that's what she's comfortable. Right. She's not comfortable with this, and I get it.
Which is funny because Foxy was comfortable being the pretty person and not the monster, and but they definitely pay attention to when the girls are done, and they'll send them home because they're done.
Yep. And I also feel like Loris was sent home not because of feeling defeated or anything like that. I think the Boulets truly realized how much everyone wanted her gone.
She was voted off the island.
Right. This was very much a Big Brother or...
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, it
I won't
changes...
say Big Brother because that would be more us watching.
Government. But it changes the dynamic of the people in the competition from this point on. And it's a good change. So... Yeah.
Survivor. That's what I was thinking of when they all vote people off.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
they both go home.
We get our first double elimination.
Yeah, which I'm fine with.
Again, I would love for Xochitl to stick around. Xochitl's had a couple of my favorite looks the last few weeks.
I'm fine with her going home only because her comfort level has plummeted, and I honestly think once you reach that level of like just episode after episode, you're so down on you're not having fun.
Right.
You're not bringing your best game. You're mentally tapped. The creativity is kind of gone, you know, and it's time to go home. But yeah, I'm glad that they sent Loris for other reasons. Yeah. All right, you ready?
Loris has been
a thorn
in the side
of
of my enjoyment for this first season.
I mean, there's other people in other seasons, but this one, she's particularly...
She's one of the worst, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go to our rankings. Oh, poor Foxy.
I know. I still feel bad for Foxy.
Okay, yeah, I mean, you always start off, so who is your number 6?
Loris. And I know this is a basic bitch thing, but even if I add in the, like, lounge clothing that she changes into for the lip sync, it's still a very, very, very basic profile.
Yeah. Very.
And it is shown afterwards that she even had problems releasing the catch on her cape. And honestly, with the cut of the dress and everything, she didn't need to release it, so she shouldn't have spent the time fumbling on it, because it's just it's a shell dress. There's no, like, great reveal or anything. It's just cape, no cape. And then her tracksuit just said, like, bitch on it. And it's just, you know, it's pale pink.
Right. All right. My number 6 was Loris. For all the same reasons. No, not Meatball. Why did you do that? Loris. For all the same reasons, and to be honest, a lot of it too is she should have went home last week.
Right.
She absolutely should have.
I mean, again, she looks very pretty. Don't get me wrong. She pulled off the Paris Hilton thing, but like Paris on a down day, because there's no glitter, there's no dog, there's no. I mean, it's just, again, it's so basic in terms of just the profile.
Right.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Vander Van Odd. honestly, Vander, I struggled placing Vander here, just in terms of, I feel like she only did slightly better than Loris this week. Like, I almost put Vander at the very bottom. And again, Vander is one of my favorite people during this season.
Right.
But I hated this look.
I mean, yeah, okay.
It screams to me more...
This
70s, 80s housewife.
I was going to say, this is bougie 50s housewife self-care prep.
It's what you picture when you are seeing the old commercials of the housewife that's at home and she's got a robe on.
The green face
and
mask.
With the green face. And again, she's doing the spray.
Curlers in, yeah.
And that's what it screams to me. And that doesn't scream basic bitch to me. That just screams...
stereotypical white homemaker lady.
Yeah.
From the 50s. Yeah. And I get what you're saying.
But yeah.
She looked great doing it, but yeah, in terms of basic bitch, yeah. Okay, my 5 was Xochitl. And it's not... It was definitely the cut of the dress. And I know she was going for the Southern Belle, Scarlett O'Hara, the parasol, the whole 9 yards, but to me it looks like a monstrous mess of grandma's lace curtains thrown together for a Halloween costume. And I again don't think that there was enough basic bitchness to it. Like, this is new age Southern Belle. This isn't basic bitch to me.
Right. What's your number 4?
My number 4 was Vander. And again, for a lot of the same reasons that you had, even adding in her reveals, because she goes from this to a day dress to a corseted night outfit. And like, none of the outfits to me said basic bitch. They all said 50s housewife. And presented beautifully. She looked beautiful. And I love that she does her makeup so extreme. Like the blue on the eyeshadows was like almost triangles and stuff like that. I like that kind of difference. But again, this is other than the hairspray, not basic bitch to me.
Right. My neighbor. My number 4 is Frankie Doom. Now, this one was a struggle, and I say this as pretty much everyone from 4 up I liked. I felt did fine.
Right.
And did well within the parameters. Frankie's was just more... She definitely worked on the things that the Boulets asked her to. She fixed up on... Everything looked more complete. It looked more put together.
Realistic.
And more realistic. I loved that she brought out... she was the one that came out with the what I can only consider is probably pumpkin spice latte.
Right. Yep.
And she just did a fantastic job. And yeah.
Yeah.
Again, she also gets bonus points. Again, the Freddie glove for the performance was a nice touch. My number 3 is Meatball. I actually really liked Meatballs. And again, any of these top 4, I could probably switch around in any way, shape, or form, and I would still be content. Meatball just again did a fantastic job, and I think the one thing keeping her out of the top 2 spots, even though she won for the Boulets, is her back.
Yeah. She's my number 3 as well, and for all the same reasons. Like, again, so I feel like the butt flap, the non-butt flap, was just a cutout. Like she just put on this plaid skirt and cut one of the pleats out of the back. And if you want a little, crack reveal, I feel like you need to be more artistic about it than that. Because, again, it just looked like she had an accident in the bathroom and it got tucked up in her tights or her undies and she was walking around like that. It didn't look like fashion. But she did a fabulous job. Fabulous. And I like that it's Heather's. I also see Clueless in it. It is definitely sort of the bougie, like, basic white bitch type thing. I like it. My number 2 is Frankie.
Alrighty.
And I love the ode to Jennifer Coolidge. I also think that she upped the color scheme to almost like an 80s palette. So she had the, like, highlighter color hair and highlighter pink top. And I love that. I feel like she added more drag element to it than anybody else in terms of makeup and wearing vinyl, and it had a more drag feel to it.
Right.
But she went with the high ponytail. She went with the Starbucks drink. I mean, she nailed it. She even ate some of the hot dog, which is a line from Jennifer Coolidge in Legally Blonde. So, yes.
My number 2 is Xochitl. I actually had her as my number 1 until earlier today. And again, I think she nailed the Southern Belle look. I think the Southern Belle can fit within basic bitch thing, only because I grew up here and I've seen it.
Right.
It's around all the places.
It's also a very pageant thing, so I suppose if you look at it in that light, it could be as well.
And admittedly, I went into this looking for more glam, and I don't think there was anybody that really went much more glam than she did overall, except for maybe
Melissa.
Who we've both got as number 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm bummed Xochitl ended up going home. I'm just being honest.
I wish she had kept her attitude up because I like Xochitl's looks. Like, I've really liked them. I think she could have shown us a lot more, but I think once you get that attitude, like, it's better to get you out of there than to watch you plummet. You know what I mean? Plus, this is very tiring. This is a very taxing thing to be part of. So once you plummet, like, mentally you're taxed, you're stressed. Like, it can lead to serious mental complications. So it's better to just... Now, Melissa, not only do we have a very Legally Blonde moment here, but she managed to mix all the different, like, patterns and textures that basic bitches go for. She even hand rhinestoned her tights. Her reveal is still good, but it reminds me more of what you would see on a ice skater.
Right.
But it's very pageant-y. She's got almost sort of Western rhinestone boots with it, so it could be a pageant queen kind of cowboy-esque type thing. But she came out with the bag and the cell phone and the puppy in the matching outfits and colors, and she was sparkly and blonde, and I think she nailed it.
Yeah, where the hell is my Shutter app? I need that so I can see what the next
The next one is the club and then the sea monsters.
Yeah, but I don't know what the name of the episode is. That's what I'm looking for. It's got a different thing.
Something sea monsters from the deep, sea monsters. But yeah.
But no, so yeah, sea monsters attack is the next one.
I was close.
Everything she said, Melissa knocked it out the park, and this is where I want to bring up something that scares me about this show. I love the show. I love the Boulets. The Boulets are allowed to make whatever decisions they decide to make with their shows. It's their show. But we've now had twice where somebody should have won because they put out the best look and best performance, and they don't actually win because somebody else does the turnaround.
Okay.
And I'm happy for Meatball in getting the turnaround and doing what she needed to do to step up her game. But she still didn't put out the best look.
Mm-hmm.
She still didn't put out the best performance.
Right.
She shouldn't have won.
Right.
She should be honored and as, hey, you did a great job. Because this also turns around into how often are people winning things for the demographics as well. We've talked about this.
Right. Well, I think the Boulets, it's not a thing. Because I know that they've explicitly stated that they have checklists and all sorts of things that go into the decisions. But I think it is something that obviously they now need to be careful about. And they've spoken about how social presence and everything has really changed this show over the course of time because there is such a push from the fans and there's threats from the fans and so on and so forth. So they've had to be careful, but it is something to be careful of so that it does not look like you are pandering to. But I think the thing that does not upset me about this particular one, they're not doing it for some, like, if it were in one of the current seasons where they would get, like, a key that allowed them to save themselves, I'd be pissed. But the fact that Meatball isn't actually taking a win, like, I feel like in this season, the wins aren't as important because they don't mean a step ahead, if that makes sense.
I don't think the wins are ever really important. I'm just being honest.
I mean, I know they compare wins in the...
I feel like the win comparisons are more amongst the fans and the people involved, the contestants.
Right.
Because, again, to be honest, I don't think the Boulets are carrying and tallying up how many wins each person has. Oh, yeah, you've got 5 wins. You've got 3 wins.
It just means that they get to go on to the next episode.
It just means that they're guaranteed to not be up for extermination.
Or,
typically.
Yeah. But, again, if they are giving out little points to get ahead or this, that, and the other, which they do sometimes, like, that's where I would have called this completely...
Yeah, but
unfair.
they've never done it like that for the end of the episode. It's always been, it's usually like a fright feat. A fright feat comes out, and the fright feat might actually be, hey, there's a key hidden in your room. Go find it. Right. And then you get to decide what you're going to do with that key. And again, at the end of the day, I know it sounds weird for me saying like the wins don't matter because they really don't. At the end of the season, it's more who made it, who didn't, who's there, who looks the best, who's been more consistent.
Right.
But
honestly, it's the top 3 where they take all of their stuff into consideration, like how have they been this whole season, blah, blah, blah.
But it does just come off as weird to me as like, Melissa, you scored the best, but...
Right.
So-and-so did everything that we asked them to. Well, that's fine, but so's Melissa.
Right.
That's why she's now had 2 weeks in a row, 3 weeks in a row, where she's at least amongst the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So she's doing everything that's asked of her, too. It's just she wasn't as down far.
Right.
Which is also wrong, because she started the season off at the bottom.
I'm
looking for...
consistency.
Just consistency.
Yeah.
I want a set of rules, that those set of rules need to be followed 100% of the time. Don't deviate because you might like what somebody's doing.
I'm not as... I don't care as much. Like, yes, I do want some consistency. Like majorly, I want consistency.
I will absolutely rage further down the line when we
more of this comes up.
This happens several times, just in different ways. Like, there will be a point where somebody absolutely will not have done at all what the fucking thing asked them to do, and then won't even be amongst the bottom.
That's when I'll get mad.
Stop it!
That's when I'll get mad. This kind of thing I can kind of understand. Again, nobody got points to get ahead or anything like that. But yeah. If it matters, like they didn't follow the rules, they don't even then I care quite a bit. So this season, all in all, just like this episode, not my favorite, not my least favorite. A lot of pink. Again, I think this one would have been so much more fun to see at on a Patreon or something, see everybody's full performance, and
that's what we're really missing, because there's a lot of these. Again, going back to Xochitl, they showed just enough, and the stuff that they showed, she didn't look like she did bad performance-wise. But then that's one of the things they ding her on, is like your performance, you just don't look like you're there. You don't look like you want to be here. You don't look like you've got the energy. But she didn't look like she looked like she was trying to do the Southern Belle gimmick to me.
Definitely feel like this is where they improved on in later seasons. I do feel like we see more of their performance in later seasons. This one, it's a starter. But again, I think all of the seasons would benefit from a Patreon. So that's where we are. I am looking forward to Sea Monsters. I'm honestly not really looking forward to the club.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the club moment, only because I feel like a lot of their performances just kind of fall flat. Yeah. I remember the episode.
Me too.
O-Girl comes out with the big peacock feathers that just aren't working.
I mean, so that's the thing. I just feel like it was rather... They were new.
Yeah.
And it showed.
But I absolutely do remember as well loving the sea monsters.
Yeah, the sea monsters are.
So I'm excited.
Plus, they're crazy. I grew up in that area, so going into the bay at that time of year, and they are crazy gals.
We've actually only got 2 episodes left.
Oh wow! Of this season.
And then we'll have 2 more recorded episodes based off of season 1 after that.
Okay. Podcast.
No.
Okay.
One episode will be us ranking all of the looks from all of the contestants, and then the other one will be us ranking the Boulets looks for the season.
Ooh, that one's gonna be spicy.
That one's gonna be a very short episode because there's only like 10 of them as opposed
to... but that's also gonna be harder because their looks are so fabulous. Anyway,
but yeah, so that's it. That's I don't know. We can switch back to the main screen now.
He wasn't lying. His major note on his piece of paper is Loris, shut the fuck up. I love it. It's all in caps. Top of the page.
Honestly, I've thrown a couple of them away. It's been written like that on every sheet at some point. Because she just doesn't shut the fuck up.
Yeah. She's...
Pay attention to me. Please have pity on me.
She's young and, so I don't want to bag on anybody, honestly, most of the time. But just beware, if you have not watched this, not everybody's like that. It's worth watching.
It's worth watching.
Yeah.
This is one of my... If they were to do the idea that I'd come up with, I think we talked about at the beginning of all these so far. It was the one where I had said each season comes back in the one big season, and they start off as teams.
Right.
And one person from each team gets
eliminated.
Forward, It gets eliminated each episode. And then the last episode is all the last final ones.
Final dinner.
No, not even a final dinner. It's just the last ones of each one, and all have their 3 things that they're up for.
Right.
It would be fun. I would love that. It would be insane for sure.
I think this is.
But season 1 would be a group that I would like to just see not win.
Except for here's the thing. I adore Melissa.
I adore Melissa Vander. Honestly, I adore pretty much all of them except for Loris. Even the people that didn't last long.
Yeah, the people...
Pinche wasn't around long enough to develop any sort of connection.
I liked Ursula quite a bit.
But I liked Ursula Major.
Yeah, it's, Foxy definitely liked. Anyway, at the end of this season, though, I love Vander and Melissa, and I think that they actually put on... I mean, we'll talk about it when we get there, but I think they put on one of the coolest ending competitions in terms of looks.
Yeah.
So
I will tell you
I don't know that I would want this season to lose because they have some ultimately badass chicks on this.
No, I know.
But I know what you're saying.
They have...
There's a couple people here and there throughout the seasons that I would absolutely vote off the island first.
To be honest, I actually feel like season 1 cast did a fantastic job overall. I feel like they suffer from being the first.
Yeah, that's, I mean...
Because
they're the experiment.
I would love to see them come back as a whole and try to push themselves further in other ways, because like now it's no longer them in a closet.
I want to see them come back and have the whole stage and the whole boudoir, and like I want to see them perform now. Yeah.
And yet there's just a whole lot of
well, plus they've got 5 seasons and some other things to watch for reference. Like, I just want to see how they would do now.
There's already been like 2 or 3 episodes where by the end of it, we're like, most of them didn't get the memo.
Right.
And it's not necessarily their fault. They were just going by what they thought would have been the right aspect. But again, I wish the Boulets would have called the groups out as a whole at some point and been like, none of you guys...
Yeah, no, that's not what we asked for.
This isn't what we were looking for. We're going to judge you all based off of what you got, but this is not.
Right. When we say zombies, we mean Night of the Living Dead zombies. I think we specified that even, but you know.
No. I still think if anybody would have gone Rob Zombie, they should have won.
Rob Zombie would have been amazing. Oh, you said zombie.
I'm mad nobody's done it. It reminds me of like play on words and play on situations. Like you remember when for season 4? 3 or 4, whichever one had Saint, and Saint actually made it to the final 3.
4?
Was it 4?
I think so.
Did Saint make it to the final 3?
Saint was in 3.
But whichever one it was, Saint had one outfit where she dressed up like the Boulets, remember? Mm-hmm.
Which was perfect.
And did the whole thing. And
I thought that was Coco. Wasn't that Coco Kane?
It might have been Coco.
Yeah, it was horror icons.
Yeah.
And so there was like, you could be Elvira or Morticia, and she was one of the, it was amazing.
Yeah, she went with the Boulets, and it was fantastic.
Introduced.
My bad. I thought it was, I don't know why I thought it was Saint.
I'm pretty sure that was Coco.
It's Saint or Coco. I can't remember which one. But yeah, it was, again, little things like that. So again, when I say it'd be fun for at some point for them to do a zombie challenge, and then somebody comes out dressed as Rob.
Right. In the back of my Dragula.
Fantastic. And if they lip sync or performed that song as well,
that would be great.
I'd be like, let's go!
I'd be like, and you have won. Yep.
Winner! Because you thought outside the box.
And as long as they presented Rob in a way that like everyone knew it was Rob and like they did a good job, his outfits cross over, I think, to drag quite well.
They could even come out dressed up as the Living Dead girl.
It'd just be Sherry Moon.
Yeah.
She's a zombie too.
Yeah.
Thoughts, people, thoughts. All right.
But yeah, that's going to do it. So the next episode is Sea Monsters Attack.
Yay! I'm looking forward to that.
And then the episode after that is a half and half, actually. They do the supper on the same episode as the final.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't until season 2 that they actually started doing the Last Supper as its own episode.
Because they finally managed to get the girls catty enough. All right,
guys. That's going to do it. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you with the next one. Peace.